Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode.
I'll give you the red light special all through the night. Welcome back, Lil Mamas and Gentiles alike, to another episode of My Mama Told Me.
The podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of black conspiracy theories.
And we finally worked, I can talk, and we finally
I'm excited.
And we finally worked to prove the theories of you, the listeners, the Lil Mamas. That's what you're called forever and ever now. Whether or not you like it, your lip gloss is popping, your lip gloss is cool.
I'm walking up to grown men and identifying you as Lil Mamas at shows. So take it.
I've had a few people identify themselves as Lil Mamas, and I appreciate it. It's nice.
No, it's really nice. It's pretty
nice
dope when people do it.
Speaking of people, I want to say a shout out to, so they came to our Chicago show, and then they doubled back and came to see me in Minneapolis. Bro, they brought me a seafood pot pie.
Whoa.
With crab and shrimp, and the top Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was. So shout out.
I didn't even know you could do that.
It's a new genre. I
didn't know seafood pot pie was a thing, first and foremost. I thought it was strictly chicken or beef.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a possibility.
And then to advance that a step further and make it Cheddar Bay biscuit crust that's nuts. They living in the future.
I think it was the best. I think it was the best plate thing I got. Bro, this is embarrassing. I got back to the hotel. I didn't even have a fork.
Oh no.
Because it was like 11. So this is bad. You know how they have the notepad in the hotel? Sometimes they have a notepad. I pulled all the paper off of it, so it was just the cardboard. And I bent the cardboard in half. And then I folded it in half the long way, and then I used it to scoop.
Well, I'll say two things. Number one, I was scared you were going to be like, so I ate that pie like Yogi Bear.
No.
And that was going to make me fucking sad.
No, and that would be upsetting.
And then as you were describing what you made, and it was like, oh no, he's going to roll it into like a funnel and then like scoop it like he's pouring it in like a pixie stick. And that's
I have to ask you a
haunting.
Serious question. What do you think of me? Nigga.
This isn't a reflection of you. It's more just where my imagination goes when motherfuckers talk.
Okay, yeah. Both those would be so bad. No, it
drink a pot pie like a straw through the back of a fucking Post-it note board. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't have told you if that would have been what happened.
Yeah, no, and I thank you for keeping some things private.
Yeah, for sure. No, there's got to be a level of, my life is my life.
Yeah.
All right.
Should we get to this email?
Yeah, we got an email today. I'm very excited about it. It's from Mel. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. The subject line is Drake is not a rapper, ... He is an actor.
Very aggressive right from the start.
Yeah, already intrigued. All right. Hello, gents. That's a decent address.
Yeah, it's classy for sure.
Thanks for reading my last email. Appreciate you both trying to elevate our collective consciousness on time, even if you both disagreed with my universal truth. If you disagreed, sounds like the truth isn't universal, my man.
Sounds like it's two niggas in the universe that you listen to that are more right than you are.
On to the business at hand. I've held this thought for quite some time that Drake is not an actual rapper. He is actually a method actor creating the longest running performance art installation in history.
Whoa.
I did not have strong evidence of this until a recent kerfuffle. he had with a clairvoyant who goes by the name Joe Budden. Dude. Let me just get through the email first.
Sure.
Until a recent with a clairvoyant who goes by the name of Joe Budden. Not sure if you are familiar with his predictions. He had one on DJ Envy.
You really are struggling hearing that Joe Budden be right sometimes. You don't even want that for him at all.
Broken clock is right twice a day. I did not have strong evidence of this, and the sun even shines on a dog's ass. I did not have... No, I don't know why I'm coming so aggressive. I actually really like Joe Budden. I've always been a fan of his music.
He's an interesting character.
I like sad guy stuff. Well, listen. So here we go. Drake, who normally does not respond to critics, was incensed when Joe Budden gave a negative critique of his latest album, which was objectively sonically displeasing to most people. Yeah. Drake's anger was not a result of Drake believing he makes good music and was hurt by those comments. Nay, I say.
Oh, boy. Really makes you regret reading this email, huh?
Because now I got to read this. Nay, I say. It was because Joe had dared to parse his lips that have only uttered one hit, Pump It Up, and frankly just Blaze did the heavy lifting on that track. I digress. I do not want to get distracted from the point. It was that Joe was onto the way Drake makes music. Drake's music is not from the heart. Rather, it is movie storytelling very similar to the Fast and Furious movies. Fantastical, featuring characters that are telling stories they did not live, kind of like an actor. Also, how is it that Drake has never acted in anything since Degrassi? One might say he has been acting this whole time.
Whoa.
You both are destined to make it as your initials spell good luck. Amazing job on the pod. Keep up the great work. G, Bori, OOD, David, L, Langston, OOK, Kerman.
Good luck.
But
well,
I think okay.
There's a lot to unpack here.
There is a lot to unpack here.
There's the suggestion of Drake being not, in fact, a real artist and more just a manufacturer of music as a performance art piece. And I don't know that I think of Drake as in any way that kind of artist.
Right.
Even remotely as I don't think he's ever been art, like even kind of underground version of what art could be, or like high-end thoughtful pieces. He's the art that everybody likes, that it's just objective, easily palatable. We all agree this is art, sort of likes is Drake.
I think so. I think for the most part, Drake is living in his truth. I think the things that he talks about is stuff that is like I don't think there's a yeah. I mean, obviously, sometimes some of the like gangster bars type shit is not him, but I think a lot of the shit he says is really what he's doing. You know what I mean? I don't.
It's just him fussing at women.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, this is pretty realistic. Even when you hear him talk about like, yeah, I've never made up a woman's name in a song. It's like, it's just like, the things he's doing aren't so fantastical, because if they were fantastical, and this is what I think people relate to, if they were fantastical, they would sound like other rappers who you listen to and apparently, according to them, have never taken an L or done anything embarrassing. You know what I mean?
It's
Drake
like the Nas shit. People are constantly saying Nas didn't live the life that he raps about, whatever. But Drake is like, yeah, I just ate a lady out and then I decided I didn't want to call her no more. So I'm gonna make a song about that.
Yeah, I spent a bunch of money on her and then she still doesn't like me and I got hurt by that. Like, you know what I mean? The things the things that he's speaking to, I don't think are so overblown that they don't feel real.
Yeah, I do think when I think about some of what is being said too, like as it relates to the Joe Budden of it all, I think one of the things I remember seeing in this Joe Budden controversy was that it wasn't that Drake was upset that he critiqued the music or the making of the music. Drake says he's mostly upset, and this is more Drake's words than anything, says that he's upset because Joe Budden was calling out his lifestyle. He didn't like that Joe Budden was pointing out that he's spending all this time with like these young rappers and kind of like incorporating their style into their shit. And specifically, he got really upset at Joe Budden saying he needs to stop dating 25-year-olds and date women his age so his music could sound more appropriate and also better.
Right. I think also there's a level of like, I think it's all pretty clear that Joe Budden was a major influence on Drake, especially within the beginning. So I think it's that level of like, at two Brutus, like of all the people to come at him, you know what I mean? Because Joe Budden seems to be historically kind of more on Drake's side, you know?
I was about to say, and somebody on Twitter pointed this out, and thank God I'm back because I get these specific takes. Somebody pointed out that Joe Budden has been kind of a fan of Drake for a long time. Like he rarely says negative critiques of Drake's shit, and even when he does, it's a lot of him being like, nigga, I hope he can keep the magic going because he's so fucking unbeatable at this game, more than it is him being like, oh, this nigga's whack, we shouldn't be listening. He's like a big fan. So for him to be like, this is whack, it's not coming from like a genuine disappointment more than like I'm just fucking with you to fuck with you shit.
Yeah, I think Drake, I think it just truly hurt his feeling is what I think. I think it actually made him sad. And I think that, and to speak to your point earlier, yeah, man, I don't think he's that type of artist.
Yeah.
I don't think he's concerned with art in that way. And neither are most anybody. No rapper, or not no rapper, but not the ones that we talk about frequently is that. You know what I mean? Drake sells hit records.
Yeah, I think even if this argument were more about like Childish Gambino, I could see that. Right. Of him being like, well, you can see him seeing himself as that kind of artist, even if I don't necessarily think that that's what the art is. He sees himself as that guy. And so I could see him choosing music as sort of like this performance arts piece that he then is representing to the world 3 decades in, whatever the fuck. But Drake's just a nigga trying to get ladies to pop their pussy. And
I think so, man. And I think that's okay. Yeah. I think that's fine. I don't particularly feel any type of way about Drake. Like, you can't be mad at somebody for not doing what you did.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean? And within Joe Budden, it seems like, especially specifically the lifestyle stuff, it's like, okay, he's not you. I don't know, man. The guy's being himself, and it's still working.
Yeah, and also Joe Budden. Okay, you grew up kind of, but you grew up at like 45, bro.
You're way older than Drake too. You know what I mean? Like,
you just started behaving properly like a few weeks ago at best. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we haven't. Joe Budden has remained like a person causing controversy well into his fucking 40s.
And I think that's what happens. I think that happens a lot with media type personalities is like when they turn the corner, they kind of start to not give leeway to other people who hadn't. You know what I mean? Joe Budden's like 10 years older than Drake or something like that. So where was Joe Budden 10 years ago versus where Drake is right now in his life? You were on Love and Hip Hop 10 years ago. And that's like not downing it, but it's like, don't act like this guy is so different. Like
in his progression. Because if I'm a Joe Budden fan, I just watch one of my favorite rappers become a punchline by joining on with the Love and Hip Hop and all the things that are essentially Drake making a shitty album because he keeps fucking 25-year-olds, whatever. Yeah. I get your point that it's like, come on, man, you did the same shit. We all went through the same thing. Let me grow.
And we were just as disappointed in you. Because it was like, people forget, for Joe Budden to go on Love and Hip Hop, for what he was and what he was doing, that was a huge departure from whatever his trajectory was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Scrappy was lowering himself with Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Joe Budden was spitting on his grave with Love and Hip Hop. It wasn't, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Because despite what you may think about the guy, Joe Budden can rap his fucking ass off.
Everybody thought so.
He really can. I mean, it's like, I feel like it's, and that's another thing about the email. I feel like it's almost disrespectful to bring up Pump It Up, the hit that he had when he was like 19 and that the label kind of made for him. Like Joe Budden, if we're just talking about rap and having bars, you really can't talk like Joe Budden isn't one of those guys.
He was a defining character, I think, for an era of hip hop, specifically like the more underground belly of hip hop that was so good that it reached the fucking surface.
Exactly.
Like I think that's more how people should understand Joe Budden, is like he was just so fucking crazy for that era that they had to give him something. It wasn't as much that like his personality or his winning look or any of that shit. It was
he could just
like,
rap his fucking ass off.
He's too good for us to not try a couple singles with him. And yeah, the singles weren't great, but that wasn't his defining shit, I guess is really the point.
Yeah, and that wasn't his lane. And it was I just like I don't like Joe Budden Erasure either. Like don't play him out as the Pump It Up guy. Because none of his fans would put him in that box either. Nobody's like, you know what I mean? I think it's like the only people who are like, oh, the Pump It Up guy are people who are trying to disparage him.
Yeah, that said, I do really wish Drake would cut it the fuck out with whatever he's doing. Like this
there
new
is like
era ain't it for me, if I'm being honest.
Do you get the feeling that, and maybe this is to Joe Budden's point, sometimes it feels like maybe it's like maybe it seems like he's pushing it a little longer than maybe even he wants it to go.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I mean, we were just talking about him. I think there's a reason Eddie Murphy quit stand-up at 27 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that he could feel it. He's talked about it where, like, he went out on stage one night and the screams were so loud and so crazy and the laughs were so easy at every fucking joke that he was like, I can't keep doing this. This isn't an art form anymore. It's just me making sounds and people being like, you're the greatest. That's fucking, why would I keep doing that?
Wouldn't it be crazy if famous comedians now had that feeling?
If you're just like, bro, I did it. I'm a chill. I truly think I'd be that guy if it all came down to it. I think I'd walk away more than I would like stick around and embarrass myself.
100%, because the thing I like about it is that it's hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it goes too easy, I truly feel nothing.
No, when fucking
and not for nothing, I think I'm a ripper. You know what I mean? I think I can pretty much
you're
hang
funny
with
as
anybody.
fuck.
I can pretty much hang with anybody. But like it's like not being famous is kind of like what keeps me able. Like I think that would be hard, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like truly those the shift from the butterflies in my stomach that I feel so intensely before I walk on stage to first joke landing and like being the fucking thing that I knew it was supposed to be is what I live for inside of this art form.
Exactly.
And obviously, like every joke in between has little like instances of that, but you can never replicate that first moment of walking on stage and like truly earning their trust in a way that if you're a celebrity, you just already got it. That shit's probably dry as fuck.
I think that's why it's like hard for people to progress once they get really big, right? I mean, you know, hopefully we both figure it out. Hopefully we figure out what that feels like one day.
Yeah, I say all that to say I think Drake, to your point, Drake probably is suffering from a quality of that where it's like I'm too celebrated as a human being to even be able to imagine art anymore. I am merely a just recipient of love and your adoration.
And I think that's the difficult thing about this, right? Is you want their respect, not their love. Once they give you their love, you don't really have to do much else to earn it. You know what I mean? It's like you're gonna always love your kids. You're gonna always love your family. If it's love in that way, you know what I mean? It kind of changes what the relationship is.
Yeah.
And people have such a history with Drake that they're always going to listen to what he's, there's a lot of things. But all that being said, I don't think he's running some huge grift on us.
No, I don't think Drake he's not Andy Kaufman. This isn't like some, mysterious, like underlying truth. I think he just realized, frankly, acting does not pay as much as being a world touring artist. And he chose the one that's going to get him more money and more pussy faster.
And to be fair, I think he might be a better rapper than he was an actor.
I think he's a way better rapper than he was an actor. And he was a fine actor. I guess he was a kid, so who the fuck knows? But like in his music videos and shit, he's a pretty good actor. He feels believable and cool when he's doing the shit. That
there's
said,
a space for him, but this is what he does. This is what he's good at.
I think in 10 years, and people are going to be mad at me for saying this, I think in 10 years, there are going to be arguments of Drake being the greatest of all time. I don't think it's going to be treated with as much like pushback as it probably gets right this second, right? That like,
oh yeah, because we're still in it. We're still in, even with this last album, we're still in the middle of his Drake era.
And we still see too many of the gods present amongst us. You know what I mean? Like Andre 3000 could drop at any time. Jay-Z still exists. Like Nas got dreads now. Like everybody still is fucking
putting out music.
Yeah, and everybody's present. And so it's hard to be like, no, Drake's the best. But I think as soon as they get a little too old for us to remember the same way we do now, they're going to be talking about Drake like best, greatest of all time.
The youth already are.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you're 25, you know what I mean?
Who else is your favorite?
Since you were a kid. That's like Michael Jackson was for us. He was always famous from the time you can remember.
Yeah, somebody says Cool Mo D, and you're like, oh, what?
Yeah, what the?
Did you say Nat King Cole?
Yeah. What is a Rakim? Like, it doesn't, there's no, and that's how it should be, by the way. I mean, I think that truly, if you were going to enter the music and do it, you should have an appreciation for the older shit. But for fandom, man, that's just how that shit goes, bro.
Yeah, and I think, there's no art form on this planet that hasn't gotten better over time. Like, I just don't believe in none of that bullshit where they go like, no, the best movie is Citizen Kane. It's not. Jurassic Park is better than Citizen Kane. It just is. It doesn't. Now, if you want to talk about it in terms of like technicalities and all the shit, but movies have advanced. They've just changed in the way that they're fucking made. That's true of music.
But do you not think Citizen Kane is great?
I don't have any appreciation for it, and part of that is me having my own, like, it was too fucking boring for me to enjoy.
Really?
Yeah, I just didn't like the shit.
I
can't
like
get
that
past
movie
the
a lot.
old-timey vibe of it. I'm a bigot. I'm an ageist bigot, but I fucking...
Are there any old movies that you think are great? Like, do you think like The Godfather is great?
I don't think that they suck. I just don't think that they move me the way that they are meant to move me. The same way I don't think, if I'm being completely honest, I laugh as hard at Pryor as I did at fucking peak Chappelle. Do you know what I mean? It's not
facts. Yeah, I'm with that.
It's not that Pryor isn't on the same level as Chappelle. It's just that, like, bro, I've seen too much. I'm too far past what this art used to look like to appreciate what you are doing the same way I can appreciate the way this motherfucker's moving at his best, not at his latest.
I also, and not to drag this conversation out too long, I also think that stand-up is maybe a lot more timely than most art forms.
That's fair.
So that becomes the difficulty in it. Like, there's some stuff is just of the time. We're never going to understand how funny Dice Clay was when you hadn't seen anything like that in 86.
Yeah, and you didn't have any rules in your head about what can and cannot be said.
Or even what comedy is or whatever. Yeah. It was just a dude talking. So it's like, and we can't, and just like, and even now, you know what I mean? It's like nobody, to me at least, nobody's ever going to be funnier if you weren't there, then you don't know how huge Elephant in the Room was and why I personally think he's the best of all time. You know what I mean? So it's just so much of it is attached to time with stand-up and like you have to know like social how society was going at the time and shit like that. So it's like that's why I think it's different. But that's why you're right. That's why you're right.
Yeah, I think if we extend it beyond stand-up, because I do agree with you, it's more timely than most art forms. But like even the ones that are less timely still suffer from the same thing, i.e. films, i.e. music, i.e. even fucking painting. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking Leonardo da Vinci can't make Coco. Like he just can't.
I don't know about music though, man. I went to the symphony for the first time this year, and it's like seeing it in the hall, the concert hall, where the acoustics are what it's supposed to be, and like hearing it all, like hearing the sound of 10 violins at once and shit like that. I think it rivals any music that anybody's making now.
Wow.
I really do feel that way. Like the idea of being moved or whatever.
Well, our next guest, Sexy Red, is going to have a few things to say about that. She is not going to care for that take one bit. She makes the best music.
You know, listen.
There was doo-doo feces thrown all over the walls, the floor, the ceiling, and it stunk so bad.
It stunk so.
I just wanted to do that because I feel like we got further into the pretentious art conversation than we usually do.
But I do think it's important as it relates to this conspiracy theory. I think largely it seems like you and I agree that while Drake is a pretty phenomenal artist, he ain't a art for art's sake ass dude and probably does not have the ability or foresight to be able to pull this little number off.
Yeah, and that's okay because neither am I nor do I. So I don't really feel no kind of way about it. You know, whatever.
No, I'm not seeking out that artist at all. And so I'm grateful that Drake exists to,
I like it.
To give me just that sweet commercial music I've been craving my whole life.
Yeah, it tastes good.
Yeah. Great. I think we did it. I think that covers that. You want to tell the people where they can find you and what cool shit you have going on?
Cool Guy Jokes 87 on Instagram. Not really on tour right now, but I got, dates here and there. If you follow me on IG, I will, I update local shows and stuff like that. And then, follow the YouTube, like and subscribe, rate and comment. All that stuff definitely helps us out. Oh, I do want to say we are in talks about figuring out this harmonica nunchuck thing. We have not forgotten. Stop DMing.
No, we owe you guys, and we're not unaware, but we are afraid and ashamed that this is what our positions have been sunk to. And if you want to follow me and complain to me personally, you can send it all to, you can follow me at Langston Kerman. And November 10th and 11th, I'll be at the Vermont Comedy Club up there, and I think it's Bloomington, Vermont. Is that right? I don't know.
No, Burlington.
There you go.
They don't work me though. Put in a good word.
I'll nudge them. Burlington, Vermont. And then, the next week I'll be in Dallas, Texas at Hyenas Comedy Club. And then if you want to send us your own drops, your own conspiracy theories, if you want to tell us that you have definitive proof of Drake's intent to scam us through art, send it all to mymommapod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, do the shit. Don't make us ask you again. Bye, bitch.
Motherfucking mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode.